Okay. Let me see. No real announcements. Happy Halloween, right? Stop. Lay down. We got repair people here, so she's losing her mind. Um, Acting like a wild animal. Come here. Lay down. Come on. Lay down. All right. Lay down. Come on. You're not too old. Come on. If you just lay down and be quiet, you'll be good. Uh-uh. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. Lay down. Lay down. Don't get yourself in trouble. She always like she just does what she want to do. She gets in trouble. Okay. All right. Let's try this one more time. This is so annoying. Okay. Yeah, it's a shame. Like I usually try not to go to like force because like, even the dog is like it's so interesting, but people are the same way. It's like, you know, you're kind and gentle and you repeat yourself, but they don't understand that, everybody has their limit. And so I'm like, look, I'm telling you this. Like once I start repeating myself, then it's like, okay, I'm getting irritated. And then I was like, I know just one good decisive tap, just to get her attention. Then she's like, okay, I'm sorry. And she'll like snap out of it. And she'll start to actually pay attention. And I don't like to do that, but then it's like, sometimes she just needs to be like brought back. And then she kind of like acts like she got home training. She calms down. But it's like if I don't do that, then she just be doing, just going crazy. I'm like, yo, will you please stop doing it? Let me see. So I'll be updating grades within the next couple of days. So I was kind of glancing to see we're a little bit ahead of schedule. We don't really have that much left. We're just going to finish out chapter 12. Um, so our focus for today is section 12.2, measures of central tendency. This is going to be the last of the new material for the semester. Right. So I want to say our assignments are available on My Open Math. They're still available. I think for the sections for chapters 1 through 3, I removed the late penalty. And then I think I left the late penalty stands for like the later assignments. But, everything is there. Like if you need help, you have to ask. You have to speak up. And I know it's tough. Like that's just the nature of college algebra. Even if we were in person, it's still tough. Is I feel like it's just tougher because it stresses me out because I have to physically be there. I'd be like tired and sleepy and funky, and when I'm remote, at least that stuff doesn't matter, right? To a degree. But it's tough even in person. I will acknowledge there is a difference, like being in front of somebody, but it's still tough. Like even if I was standing in front of you, it would still be the same presentation. You know what I mean? Um, and you still would have to be proactive. It's just a weird experience. Like I don't really believe in making everybody study this stuff. But this is just like how the system or the way the structure is set up for today. I mean, this is not just Morris Brown. This is like nationwide. If not, I don't know how far it goes beyond the country, but at least in the U.S., that's pretty much the standard. I don't like the way that looks, and I don't know how to. I think if I go like this, let me see. I'll go like this, and then this one. No, I can't get it to go back. I don't know. I don't know how to get it to switch. Okay. Yeah. So when I was looking ahead, like I think it was just 12.1 and 12.2 was due next week, and then it's a few more sections after 12.2 that's due on like the 14th, and then after that, I think is like the Thanksgiving holiday is coming up after that, and then we only have like a week or so left, right? So everything is kind of coming to a close. Uh, Again, just to encourage you, I'm totally fine with you taking anything that's on My Open Math and either collaborating with your peers or connecting with a tutor. I know a couple of times throughout the semester I loaded instructions in the dashboard on Populi on how to connect with a free tutoring service that's available 24/7. Um, again, I'm okay if you take this and just sit down with them and go line by line, question by question. I'm fine with that. On my end, I just need you guys to submit it. Submit your work. Um, with satisfactory scores, you still get unlimited attempts, just a minimal late penalty. Let me check and make sure nobody's stuck in there. Oh, and I'll be updating attendance and all that stuff. I guess I just let them in. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead. Let's get into the topic for today. Let me see. So last time I know we looked at histograms and frequency distributions, and so like given some data, we're trying to see how to synthesize and process the data. Like in the previous chapters, we were talking about counting techniques and then how to use that counting to calculate probabilities. And then so now we're looking at statistics and, basically like probability is the likelihood that something's going to occur. With statistics, that's like the organization of data, right? So the organization, analysis, synthesis of data, right? So given this collection of information, what does it tell us about the environment or the system, right? So measures a central tendency. Let's look at some objectives here. 1, determine the mean for a data set, so that's the average. 2, determine the median for a data set, so that's the middle. Determine the mode for a data set, so that's the frequency. Determine the mid-range for a data set. I don't have a snappy way to, re-articulate that one. Okay, let's look at it. So mean, the sum of the data. So when you think of average, right? If you take 3 exams, how do you calculate your average, right? You add up the 3 exams, divide by 3. So that's how we find the average, right? So mean is just going to be the sum of your entry points divided by the number of entry points, right? The sum of the data items divided by the number of items. So your average is going to be the sum of your x divided by the number of x. Where sigma x, that's called the sum. This is called summation. Represents the sum of all the data items, and n represents the number of items, right? So we have this data, we add them up, we divide by the number of items, and so that gives us a sense of the center of the data. All right, let's keep going. So this example in calculating the average: are inventors born or made? It would be nice to think that we could all be great inventors, but history says otherwise. Based on a sample of adults in 10 selected countries, shows wide agreement that inventiveness is a quality that can be learned. Find the average percentage of adults in 10 countries who agree that inventiveness can be learned. So I guess we have our 10 countries here. It can be learned, which is the blue. So then we're just taking the average of those results. Hey Siri, what's the average of 92, 84, 84, 80, 78, 77, 77, 77, 75, and 75?
The average of 9.2848 times 10 to the 17th power and 75 is approximately 4.6424 times 10 to the 17th power.
No. She totally got that wrong. Let's all right, let's nope. This one. Come on. You see, she's not yapping no more. She's like, okay. She knows somebody's there, but I've already acknowledged, like, hey, I know the person's here. It's okay. If I say it's okay, then let it go. And so, she gets into her like, dog ego. It's so funny, But it's a matter of her safety. Like, 'cause if she doesn't listen to me and we're out, and I'm like, hey, you need to come here, you need to calm down, she can like either be attacked by an animal, a bigger dog, which she tends to forget. She doesn't realize that when she's in the presence of bigger dogs that she could be eaten by these animals. Sometimes there are like coyotes and other animals, even eagles and cars, all sorts of crazy stuff out there. She's just a little bitty dog, thinking that she's bigger than everybody. Maybe spiritually she is, but so if I'm saying, hey, you need to listen, so I have to train her so that way when we go out and I tell her to come or if, whatever, she needs to follow the command for her safety. Let's see. Give me just a moment. Let's see. Okay, so a few seconds there. Let's do it here. So 92. Actually, yeah, that's fine. We'll do 92, 84, 84. Nope. Now, you know what? We could put this information in a spreadsheet and then just do a calculation. That's actually pretty easy too. Actually, I might do that just to showcase spreadsheets. Show you how I calculate your all's grades and how I synthesize data. Um, Spreadsheets are pretty easy. Now I'm using numbers though. I'm not, and it's similar. Like a lot, most people have access to like Excel, especially being a student. A lot of times, the Microsoft Office suite comes free as a student. As long as you have like a email that has .edu, then you can get like Microsoft Excel, Word, all that kind of stuff. I actually I want to showcase this in numbers, just to show you guys spreadsheets. Let's go here. And I gotta be quick because I don't want to show you anybody's data. Cancel. Go back. Okay. We can do it in the drive, I guess. Want a new? There we go. And we'll just do a blank. Okay. I feel like this is kind of small. Let's go side by side. It's throwing me off. I just realized because I'm streaming, it's throwing things off. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, because I can't get it to fit on my stream. I'm trying to think how to show it. I need to do something else to be able to show it. I'm just trying to think. Hang on. Okay, I got a plan. I know what I can do. Let's go with this. And basically what I can do. Come on. There we go. So I just basically needed to line up with the slide. So I'm just going to extend it and just kind of work down here. It might be a little bit small, but I'll just work kind of like about here. Okay. So let's get a copy of the data, right? Let's see. Where's that number pad? That's over there. I think I can do it on here. No, that's not it. Keyboard. Here it is. This one. Keyboard. No. Okay, I'll just type it. It's not a big deal. All right. So if we put our data in, oh, you can't see that. Let me zoom in. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay. So let's go. Let me see. 92, 84, 84. Now the hardest part here is entering your data properly. 80, 78. I think there were 3 77s. So we'll go 77. I'm just gonna copy and paste. Okay, and then 75, and then 2 75s. So that's 75. Copy and paste. Okay. Let me see. 46 from 36 to 46. Okay. So if these are, I'll just say percentages. I don't know what's going on. Percentages. Okay. Well, we don't really need a comparison. So if we want the average, so for instance, I'm working in numbers, right? So if I want the average, I'm going to say, so there's this thing called like equation mode, right? So I'm going to hit equals, and then now I could type in a formula, right? So most spreadsheets just have average as a pre-built formula. So I'm just going to type, I'm going to start typing average. You see it right there. And I'm going to select that. I'm going to open my parentheses. And I want it to take the average of this data, right? It'll do it automatically, all right? And then I'm going to close it off. And so we get the averages there, 79.9, right? So all we did was type in the data and then do a formula, right? That and it's something similar in Microsoft Excel. Okay, we got 79.9. Okay, and you see it there. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Man, looks like we're getting through this rather quickly. Calculating the average for a frequency distribution. When many data values occur more than once and a frequency distribution is used to organize the data, we can use the following formula to calculate the average. So your average, which sometimes we show as x bar. Let me see. So you have the sum of each x times its frequency divided by n. So in the last example, we had 10 data entries. Well, what if we had 100? So like in some of the examples we did last class, we had like maybe 40 or 35 or something like that. And then we made frequency distributions. So then instead of adding up, 9, 12 times, we can just say 9 times 12, right? So if we have the frequency distribution, you say the entry times however many times it occurs, and then everything divided by n. Again, x represents each data value, f represents the frequency of that data value, and then this sum of x times f represents the sum of all the products obtained by multiplying each entry by the frequency. N represents the total frequency of the distribution. Okay, let's see if we can see this in action. So calculating the average for a frequency distribution. The table to the right shows the students' responses to the question, how stressed have you felt in the last 2.5 weeks on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being not stressed at all and 10 being as stressed as possible. Use the frequency distribution to find the average of the stress level ratings, all right? So we're going to say each entry times its frequency divided by the total number of entries. Okay, I'm actually going to do a spreadsheet for this one as well. All right. I guess we'll leave that. I'll just scroll up to make some new entries. Okay. Let's see. And let's zoom out just a little bit so we can at least see. But see, that's kind of small. Okay, let's try to work with this. Okay, so let's just get a copy of this table. I'm tempted to try something. Can I do it here? That's okay. I'll just type it. So we have the stress rating. Stress rating. Can we go like? There it is. Nope. Enter. There we go. That's what I wanted. Stress rating X, and then the frequency F. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so what's 0 through 10? So now a shortcut we can say 0 and then 1, and then you can actually drag it. Let me see. How did I used to do that? What was that shortcut? Let me see something. I'm still trying to remember all my shortcuts. Select, insert. Oh no. Select, copy, format, delete, select rows, autofill, command that one. Okay. So command this. There it is. And so we can you see. So once you start the sequence, I put 0, 1, then it knows. Okay, just keep adding 1 each time. So I just drag it until you get to 10. All right. So then the frequencies now. I think we got to enter those. 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 12, 16, 18, 12, 16, 18, 13, 31, 13, 31, 26, 15, and 14. Okay. Okay. So we want the average, right? We could, I'm just going to do a formula, right? So I'm just going to say average again. I'm going to label this average. And then, so that's going to be, now what we want to do, we want to say the item on the left times the item on the right. We want to get an answer there first. So I'm going to say this. Let me think. Now, it might be easier if I do the following. I need to zoom out. Let me actually do this on full screen. Just hopefully it'll maintain its position. Okay. So then we can make another column. We can call this one x times f, right? So where we multiply, all right? If we say x times f. No, it's not what I wanted. I just wanted my x times f. I don't want Xfinity. I don't know how to. It keeps autocorrecting, and I don't know how to get it to not do that. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to say the left, because basically what we're doing, we're saying each entry x times its corresponding frequency, right? So I'm going to say the left column times the right, so I'm just going to hit equals. I'm going to say this column times this column, right? We get an answer. And then I want to repeat that formula for each row. So I'm just going to copy, and I'm going to paste that formula, and it's going to copy it for each row, right? See, notice that, yeah, 0 times 2 is 0, 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 3 is 6, right? So it copied that formula for each row. Then what we want to do is add up all those entries. So in this position, I'm going to say equals the sum of these guys. So I'm just going to add all these up. That's the sum. So then for the average, what we got to do, we got to say that result, that 975, so we're going to say equals that result divided by our frequency. Our total frequency is going to be the sum of these guys. Hopefully this makes sense, right? That's basically like all our entries divided by the number of entries, right? If we have 2 zeros, 1 1, 3 2s, our n is going to be the total of that column, right? So then our average should be this. Now, let me, I know we get this long decimal. We can actually tell it to, let me see if I can tell it to round to the nearest, let's do two decimal places. Let me see. I usually don't do rounding. Let me see. Round, okay. Round, let me see something. If I do round, and it's how many digits, okay. So I want to round that result to, let's do, so look, if we round it to 3 decimal places, that's going to be 457. I'm going to tell it to round to 3 decimal places. It should be 457. 457, right? So we can tell it, it'll automatically round it to however many, positions we want fairly accurately. Okay. So now, when we round it, we got the average was 6.457. Now with stats, I do feel like it's oftentimes more simple to process this in a spreadsheet. You can use like the graphic calculator. You can actually enter data points in a graphic calculator as well. But something like either Microsoft Excel or Numbers, a lot of times is easier to process this stuff. So you can see where they've done the same thing that we did. They had their data, and then in another column they said x times f, right? So then after that, you're going to add up all those results, get the 975, and then the 975 divided by your n to give us the 6.46. Now, they did 2 decimal places. So on ours, let's go ahead and change it to 2 decimal places as well. Okay. So here, I'm just going to adjust this formula. I'm going to hit Command Enter. And instead of 3, I'm going to change it to 2 decimal places. And that way we'll get the same thing. Okay. So spreadsheets is how I calculate you all's grades. I pull the data from basically MyOpenMath. I had to go back and like make sure that the data from MyOpenMath matches my roster in Populi. So I had to go through and kind of like shift rows around so that they match each of you guys. And then I start entering formulas like you just saw me do, right? I was like, okay, find the average of these. Okay, drop the lowest. Okay, round up to the nearest whole number. So what you just saw me do is how I calculate you all's grades. So what that means is if it's not showing in MyOpenMath, then I'm not going to have anything there. But if if you can just get it to show in MyOpenMath, then, you'll be good to go. Okay. So hopefully we're all aboard and we're not all bored. Because this stuff can be boring. I'm not going to lie. But when you can see deeper, I mean, it has so many like interesting implications. Okay, so that was a showcase on mean. So now let's look at the median. Median is the data item in the middle of each set of ranked or ordered data. To find the median of a group of data items, 1, arrange the data items in order from smallest to largest. 2, if the number of data items is odd, the median is the data item in the middle of the list. 3, if the number of data items is even, the median is the average of the two. All right. Okay, let's see this in action. So find the median for each of the following groups. So the instructions on the previous slide told us to put these in order. Oh, get an extra. I don't know how to. I'm not gonna worry about that. Let me see. So here, let's see. Let me see. We're going for it. Let's go from 80 to 90. I'm gonna put this on a number line. I feel like that might be the simplest way to visualize this. Okay. So let's say, looks like we're going from like 80 to 100, right? So say this is 90, and that's a rough sketch. This is just to help me put it in order. Okay, and we'll do the entries in dark gray. So 84, right? So 84 here. We did the 84. We did the 90, 98. This just helps to put it in order. 95 is halfway. 88 is here. Okay. So then, let me see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entries. We have an odd number of entries, so our median is going to be the middle number, which is this guy right here. That's our median. Okay. So that's our, again, all of these concepts are kind of giving us a sense of what's the middle of the data. The average is one type of central tendency. Median is another type of central tendency. And sometimes one type can be misleading over another. All right. Like if you're trying to investigate and do some research on like best companies to work for, you know, you might think that, oh, the average income is like 80,000, so that's good, right? So yeah, okay, it's a good chance I'll make 80,000, right? But then if like everybody makes 20,000, and then like the CEO and maybe somebody else, the VP or whatever, make 500,000, then it's skewed, right? So then the average doesn't show a sense of what most people are making, right? Let me see something. Let's find the average real quick. Always run out of space. So for instance, so let's just say salary, right? So say we had, I don't know, 21, 2, 3. Let's say we had, and let's do the frequency as well. I'm going to move salary over here, and let's say the frequency. Okay. So say we had like 10 people making that salary, and then like say let's go 600. 1, 2, 6. And say we had 2 people making 600,000 a year, right? So then if we did our X times F, right? This is going to be equal to this times this times this one, okay? And then let's copy, paste. So then this is going to be equal to the total, the sum of these values. And then the average, zoom out some. So then the average is going to be what? That result divided by what? The sum of these guys. So 12, right? And let's, I'm just going to round it just take the ceiling. Just give me the next whole number up. So I'm going to say the ceiling. It's like rounding, but it's not quite rounding. Ceiling to the nearest whole number. Okay. So, based on this, if we had, 20 employees or 10 employees making $20,000 a year, but then you had 2 people making like $600,000 a year, the average salary, if you were looking in a pamphlet, right, the average salary would be $116,000, right, over 6 figures. You're thinking, oh, well, the average salary is pretty high, so if I were to join their team, it's a good chance I'll be up there. But then when you actually look at the stats, that's misleading. Most people are actually making $20,000 a year, right? So it helps to be aware of stuff like this. I recently came across this where they were showcasing like the salaries of CEOs of nonprofits, and they were making $300,000 and $400,000 a year, like $20,000 a month, no, a week. It was something ridiculous. We were like, what? For a nonprofit? And it's apparently it's a common practice and it's like legal. I was like, man, I need to start a nonprofit. I was like, this is ridiculous, right? Anywho, yeah. So yeah, 90. Oh, that's why the arrow was there. Okay. All right, we got that one. Let's keep moving. So find the median continued. Let's obviously we can arrange this. I want to see if we can do this in a spreadsheet. So I want to get a copy of the data. Let's see. So I'm just going to put the entries here. Let me see. We got 68, 74, 7, 13. So I need my number pad. It's so much faster. 15, 25, or learn how to type numbers. 28, 59, 34. Come on. And then 47. I think that's all of them. So then now I'm going to see, I think there's a formula for we want the median. I think there's a formula for median. I'm hit equals median. Yep, right there. I want the median of these entries. And then close it off. 31. So let me see. How many entries do we have? If it goes from 90, is it 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have to take the average of the 2 in the middle. So 28, is it 28 and 34? So the average of 28, let me see, that's 2, 3, 31. Yeah, the average of 28 and 34, right? So if we put these in order, we'll find that 28 and 34 are the 2 in the middle. We have an even number of entries, so we have to take the average of the 2 in the middle. And that turns out to be the average of 28 with 34 to give us 31, right? I didn't organize it. I just got a copy of the data and then used the formula, and it used a function in the spreadsheet, and it automatically spits it out, right? I feel like this would be a great time to showcase using spreadsheets, right? It's a simple tool once you understand how to what you're trying to do, and then it's pretty smooth, right? So here you can see where they they put the data in order from smallest to largest. And again, there are an even number of data entries, so we have to take the average of the 2 in the middle, which is 28 and 34, to give us 31. Okay, see the time. We are moving and grooving. So listed below are numbers of letters in the 9 longest words in the English language. Find the median number of letters for the 9 longest words. The data items are arranged from smallest to largest. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Listed below are numbers of letters. 9 longest words. Okay, find the median number of letters for the 9 longest words. Okay, so the median. So if there are 9 entries, the 5th entry should be the median. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 28. So the median should be 28. So the median is 28, right? So the median is going to be in the n plus 1 over 2 position, right? That's funny. I guess that's what I did. No, I did mine a little bit different. It's essentially the same thing. I saw we had 9, So then I was like, well, 8 is easier for me to process. So that means on either side of the median, we're going to have, what, 4 and 4. So that means that the middle is going to be the 5th position. But either one is fine. Okay, let's do another one. So we got that one. Find the median stress level rating. So we have the stress levels with the frequencies. I think this is the data that we had before. Let me see if I can pull it back up. Frequency, I think this is it, right? Now, I'm going to see, can we find the median with the two, like the entry number with the frequency? Let me see. I'm going to see if we can do it here. So we're going to do equals median. Okay. I think it's viewing it as, I don't think we're doing this right. I feel like there should be something else. I don't think this is right. 7.5. Maybe. Maybe. So when we put it in there, let me think. So let's see what's our n, right? How many entry points do we have? So this is going to be equal to, I want to take the sum of this column. So that means we have a total, I think it's 151, right? So our n is 151, right? Which is odd. So then the median is going to be the, what is that? 75, the 76th entry. So entry number 76. Let's see. There's a 3, 6, 76. How can we find 76? So I'm thinking like if we did another column where we keep adding the previous entry, I kind of need to zoom out. Let me do full screen. Okay. So in this column, I want to do something that shows the sum of our frequencies, right? So for instance, I'm just trying to think. So the first entry is 2, right? And then I want this to be 2 plus 1. It's going to be this entry plus this entry, right? Basically, we want to take the current sum plus the next entry, right? So then if I enter, it should be 3. The next one, if I continue, it should be 6. I'm going to copy. So the next one should be 6. And then 6 plus 12 should be 18, right? And then so that means the formula is working. So we're going to drag it all the way down. So now we're looking for entry 70. What do we say? 76, right? It's somewhere here, right? Well, 76 is going to be, 31. So why do we get 7.5? Why wouldn't it just be 7? This was median. I feel like let me see if there's another median formula. If I go median, no, I think that's it. I got to think about how can we get this to work. Let me see, or are we doing something wrong? Let's hop back over here and see what it's looking like. So again, it should be. We got that it's a total of 151 entries. So the median should be the 76th entry, which I think is going to be 7. But I'm not sure what formula we need, right? So there are 151 data items in this table. So the median is going to be in the 76th position. Count down the frequency column in the distribution until we identify the 76th item, which is going to be 7. So we didn't do our formula right, and I guess I'm stuck because I'm trying to think. Okay, how can we get that to show? I'd have to dig a little bit on that one. So that what we did over here was not right. I got to think about that one to figure out how to get this to work. um, I mean, another way but that doesn't seem right to list that out. Now we might be able to make a formula to identify the proper item, right? If we're looking for the 76, I can't think of it right now, but I'd have to dig on that one. I don't want to eat up more time. Let's hop back over here. Okay, comparing the median and the mean. So the middle versus the average. 5 employees in a manufacturing plant earn salaries of these listed annually. The section manager has an annual salary of $95,000. Find the median annual salary, the median. Okay. So since we have just a list of data entries, I think we can do our chart like we had done before. So let me just get something, a little bit of space here. Just to notice I'm using the spreadsheet kind of like a calculator. I'd like a copy of this data. So 19,700. So let's say salaries. 19,700. 2,400. 21,500. And then I've also used like spreadsheets for like budgeting, like when you're making a plan and what you're expecting, how much you want to save. Like it's really interesting. Some of the capabilities of it: 22,600, 2,300, 23,000. Okay. Oh, and then for the manager, 95,000. Okay, we want to find the median, and next to it, we're going to go ahead and find the average, the mean. Okay. So this is going to be equal to the median of these entries. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the average of the two in the middle, and it looks like they're already arranged. So it should be, see, it's 11. So 22,050, I think. 22,050. Okay. And then the average, I can't find that quickly. I'm going to say equals the average. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I'll think about that later. So the average of these guys. So it should be higher. It should be like maybe 30 or 40. But notice that everybody here is making less than 25,000 except for the manager. Let's see what the average ends up being. 33,000, right? So the average is 33,000, but the only person making over 33 is the manager. The median is 22,000. Right. So which one gives a better sense of what more people are experiencing? In this instance, looks like the median is a better approximation of the central tendency. The median that we got was 22,050 right there. Okay. And then the average salary was like 33 something, 33,700. Okay. All right. So that was the median and the mean. So then the mode is just how the highest frequency, which entry occurs, has the highest frequency, right? So the mode is the data value that occurs the most often in a data set. If more than one data value has the highest frequency, then each of these data value is a mode. If there is no data value that occurs most often, then the data set has no mode. Okay. So find the mode for the following group. We have what, 2 7s? So it would be 7, because that's the entry that occurs the most frequently. So the mid-range is found by adding the lowest and highest data values and dividing the sum by 2. Okay. The lowest plus the highest over 2. Okay. So it's like the average of your range, I guess. Newsweek magazine examined factors that affect women's lives, including justice, health, education, economics, and politics. Using these 5 factors, the magazine graded each of 165 countries on a scale from 0 to 100. The 12 best places to be a woman and the 12 worst places to be a woman are shown below. Find the mid-range among the 12 best countries to be a woman on the next slide. Okay. So we have information on the best places to be a woman and the worst places. Let me see. Iceland. I had to visit Iceland. I always hear good things. They just seem like they're so progressive. United States is interesting. Canada, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, a lot of European places. Norway. Okay. So we want the mid-range, right? So if we look at from the best places, so we take the high score with the low score and then divide it by 2. Hey Google, what's the average of 100 with 87.2?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Hey Siri, what's the average of 187.2?
I found some web results. I can show them if you ask again from your iPhone.
All right, they refuse to punch this for whatever reason. I'll just get those 2 entry points, 187.2. Then I'm just going to take their average. $93.6. So the mid-range should be 93.6. Okay. All right. So with today being Halloween, I want to share something with you guys. Something I just made just in the spirit of Halloween. We're out of time. Well, we're not out of time, but we're done with this lecture, and I don't really want to go into the next one. Let me see. I'll go ahead and share it. It's fine.